Shumai guys, and welcome back to the Life to the Full podcast, the podcast that inspires and encourages you to make the most of your time here on Earth. My name's Dav Morse, I am your host. It's my job to learn and to teach the things that help you live life to the full. I do hope you've been enjoying the audiobook of The Richest Man in Babylon that I've been sharing here on the podcast feed, and I do hope it's causing you to think. I'm absolutely loving revisiting such a classic book and really enjoying bringing it to you. Before we get started today, I'd like to ask you a few questions. What do you like to do? What do you spend your money on? What do you think about property rights? Where do you get your ideas from? There we have just 4 of an infinite number of questions. They will have different answers for every individual that has ever walked the planet. The way you answer any of those questions will be profoundly influenced by one thing more than anything else: what you listen to. What you listen to has an incredible ability to shape the way that you think, but also to shape the way that you act in the world and the quality of your thoughts. A wise man once said, "The quality of your thoughts determine the quality of your life." I think it was Marcus Aurelius. Our thoughts are determined for the most part by what we feed our minds. Most of us listening to this podcast will likely spend many hours a week listening to people on podcasts, on YouTube videos, on Twitter, on Instagram. And whether we realize it or not, our minds are being changed. They are being shaped by what we listen to and what we read. This mostly happens over a long period of time. If we listen to the same messages for months or years, the messages we hear become ingrained and they become a part of us, a part of the way we think, a determining factor in how we see the world. And sometimes we don't even know it's happening to us. You can already see where this is going. If we are constantly feeding ourselves positive messages, ones that build us up, ones that make us feel worthwhile, ones that call us to action, call us to stand up for what is right, to fight for what we want our lives to look like, that overflows into our actions. We become our thoughts. If we are conditioning our brains to be positive, to deal with setbacks in a positive way, to learn from things that go wrong in our lives, we become resilient and able to lead others through pain and hardship. We become stronger and more able to sustain good relationships, to win the money game, because of what we listen to, what we are feeding our brains. If we are constantly feeding ourselves negative messages, ones that tell us that life's not fair, life's better for someone else, other people have it so much better than me, why do bad things happen to me? We become victims of our own thoughts. We become trapped in a thought jail we can't escape from. Maybe we could feed ourselves messages like, we shouldn't want to exercise because we should be happy with our unhealthy body. Or we shouldn't bother saving and investing for the future because life is short. Rich people are bad people. The left is bad. The right is bad. We become our thoughts. And we can feed ourselves into misery and dissatisfaction and the absolute opposite of life to the full. We are too often dictated to by society, what we should buy and what we should want. Society is built upon the idea that we should want more of everything. We are told by social media that we are successful when we drive expensive cars, go on exotic holidays. We are told what we should spend our money on. The best thing about this is, now, more than any other time in history, we can choose what to feed our minds. Even now I'm aware of this thought being an offshoot of Joshua Sheets's thoughts that there has never been a better time to be alive, with all the opportunities that we have at our fingertips. I'm aware of the irony and relevance of that. Years ago, I read Tim Ferriss's The 4-Hour Workweek. It's a great read, despite being many years old now, and some of the specifics are out of date. The principles in that book changed a lot of the way I think about things in life. There we are, again. what you feed your brain influences you. One of the concepts he has is the idea of a low-information diet. The idea is that mainstream media, the news, has an incentive to keep you scared, to keep you feeling like this is really important stuff and that you couldn't possibly live without it. But really, you don't need hardly any of it. Nothing in the news is so important that you need to know about it immediately. If, on the rare occasion, something important does actually happen, someone will tell you about it. So since reading The 4-Hour Workweek, probably over a decade ago, I haven't really watched the news. And I feel incredible for it. I didn't even know what day King Charles's coronation ceremony was. Someone had to tell me that it was on Saturday, not Monday. I figured we're getting an extra bank holiday on the Monday, so it must be then. But apparently not. Do I feel dumb for not knowing this major piece of news? Not at all. I feel liberated that my mind is not pushed towards caring for things the media would have us care for. I get to choose to fill my years with encouraging and inspiring things that help me learn and grow as a person. I listen to podcasts on health, longevity, property investing, Bitcoin, marriage, theology and the Bible, along with many others. And you know what? You get to choose what you listen to as well. You feed your mind just like you feed your body. You can choose to fill your body with Jaffa Cakes and chips and Red Bull, or you can choose to feed your body green vegetables, sourdough bread and water. You can choose to feed your mind by listening to Love Island recaps, how to manipulate people in relationships, and what the latest celebrity gossip is. Or you can choose to feed your mind by listening to inspirational podcasts that teach you things, that help you overcome adversity, that help you have better relationships. Okay, I said it. Like the Life to the Full podcast. I don't expect you to only listen to me. That would be ridiculous. Listen to other people who want the best for you and who want you to take action to improve your lives in whatever way speaks to you. Avoid anything that drags you down or fills your mind with harmful thoughts. If you only listen to mainstream media, you may end up believing that 2 + 2 = 5. Be careful what you listen to. If you listen to rubbish, your thoughts will be rubbish. If you listen to good and wholesome things, your thoughts will be good and wholesome. There's something else I want to share with you as well. I've spent a little while here showing why it's important to fill your mind with good voices, encouraging voices, caring voices, ones that push you on rather than drag you down. But I also want to share the importance of not letting others do your thinking for you. Clearly, if we passively take in all the mainstream media and the government wants us to take in, it will lead to a life of mediocrity at best, if not downright misery. If we're doing the better thing of curating a positive voice in our ears, then we are several steps ahead of most people. But I want to warn you the dangers of letting others do your thinking for you. We've already established that letting the media and government do your thinking for you is a recipe for poverty, anxiety, and dissatisfaction. But what are the dangers of letting others do your thinking for you if they are positive voices? Well, perhaps the most obvious thing is, what if they're wrong? Now, I happen to believe that Keynesian economics is a flawed model because it's based on endless consumption, and I prefer a sound money Austrian style of economics. I listen to economists who support my beliefs, or rather, most likely, I believe what I believe because of what I listen to. I believe that controlling the money supply by printing lots of money is not good for equality, but rather promotes inequality, and that an inflationary money system is inevitably going to fail. It might take a short time or a long time, but you can't keep printing money forever. But maybe I'm wrong. Maybe the people I'm listening to are wrong. It's important to keep examining your beliefs and updating them where necessary. In the world in which we live, where opinions are many, what if you hear someone else persuasive say the opposite? I remember being out for a run one time and listening to 2 podcasts back to back. One of which said, the only way to be successful is to focus on one thing. Be the absolute best at that one thing, and that's the only way you can win at life. I came away thinking, maybe I should specialize. Maybe I should focus on one thing, despite the fact that I know how difficult that would be for me. Immediately following that, I listened to a different podcast guest stating absolutely categorically that specializing on only one thing is an awful idea. It's much better to be knowledgeable about a variety of things than you can bring together different disciplines in a new way to become successful. People who specialize are unable to do so. What's the truth? What's the answer? It's important to give yourself time to think carefully about what you believe about certain things. One of the most helpful things about doing this podcast is that I have a chance to sit down and write what I think. I find that typing and slowing down to write out my thoughts before I hit record is a way for me to get things clear in my head. I find that unless I'm writing, my mind wanders in too many different directions to think an issue through properly. Take time to examine both sides of an argument and then decide what you believe about something. The old adage, if you can't explain it to a 6-year-old, you don't understand it, is truer than we'd like to believe. I want to encourage you to take time to think your own thoughts, not just accept the thoughts of others. Finally, I want you to try taking time in silence to listen to a voice that is the most important voice. Some people listening to this show are Christians, some aren't. Whatever your spiritual beliefs are, whatever your view on God or a higher power is, I want you to take time to listen to that voice that whispers when there's no other voices and distraction and noise around. Let it guide you and encourage you. You may find that the voice is there, just waiting for you to listen in. If you find yourself in these moments thinking negative thoughts, I want you to try and listen for the positive, encouraging thoughts. Reject anything negative as not true, not edifying, and embrace the goodness that comes. Stay in a place of stillness until you can push past those negative thoughts. Ask that you would be able to hear those positive things. And go and examine your listening habits. Who are you listening to that isn't serving you? Who can you get rid of from your life? What is one area that you want to improve in your life? Find edifying podcasts that speak to that area. That's it for today, folks. If you find yourself in need of some financial coaching, you can reach out to me on Instagram. I'm a qualified mortgage advisor, and I've got a degree in financial mathematics, and I'm a personal finance junkie. I love working with people to help them get their finances in order. So if that's something you could benefit from, then I'm easy to find. David Morse, Life to the Full podcast. Until next time, peace out.